We're going to go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday, April 11th, 2017. Welcome to the 44th CALLERLAB convention in Mesa, Arizona. This is the Constructing Plus session. My name is Barry Johnson. I'll serve as the moderator for this session. Our panelists today are Randy Dougherty and Doren McBroom. So the idea, we'll be taking a look at three different plus calls today. We'll be looking at peel off, we'll be looking at end spread, and spin chain the gears, taking a look at those from a variety of different uses and so on. Doren, how would you like to start us off today?
Hello? Test. Okay. Sure thing. Yes, I'm Doren McBroom from Maryland. I call really plus through dabbling with C2. There's not a whole lot of mainstream in the area. There's not a whole lot of basic in the area. I do teach occasionally. It's been a while, but that's basically my background. I do a lot of plus DBD, what we call DBD, extended applications. So you'll see that reflected in the document here. We start with basics, we start with the simple applications, and we move up from there. So, without further ado, peel off is probably not one of the most popular plus calls. You could probably ask 25, 50 people, and not many people would list peel off as one of their favorites. I think the reasons for that are that the most common starting formation is completed double pass through. If you're going to teach it, that's where you're going to teach it from. And to have that formation set up in a way that does not have the leaders turning toward each other is a little problematic. It's a little difficult to get there without using some imagination. You can get there, it works, but it's not one of the easier things to get to in a way that flows easily towards peel off. I have a couple of examples that are going to work. One cautionary note is that particularly if you're working with standard or new plus dancers, you don't want to mix peel off and peel the top. They're going to hear the peel and go for it. Peel the top's probably more popular. They're going to know it better, and they're going to be topping before they get the off. You know. So, okay. So in the handout, I put the CALLERLAB's definition in here first of all. You can all read that. I just put it in there as a review for you. So there's several formations that we can use. As I said, the beginning or completed double pass through is probably the most popular. I use it from columns next, and primarily from left-handed columns, so that the peel is to the right. It's a little more comfortable, a little more. I think people are more familiar with turning to the right than turning to the left, so that's why I put it that way. It really could be argued either way, but that's what I chose to do. A cautionary word about using peel off from parallel waves and parallel two-phase lines can be done. It's perfectly legal. It's not advisable. There just isn't enough room for the people turning towards the center to get everything there. Randy's going to disagree, but it's okay. No, okay. If you want to do it, and I have done it, particularly with some of the DBD people, and primarily in a workshop environment, you have to have the people that are turning away from the center of the square to move way away, because you have 4 spaces you have to create there for people to breathe, square breathing, and then you have to go through the explanation of what square breathing is. Okay. So, do you want to look through some of these examples that I have? The first example I give you is from completed double pass through, and I have a sequence written that gives you. There's 4 ways to move it: your leader or trailer on the left or the right, and this first sequence gives every dancer every position. So that's kind of a useful thing, I think. Second formation, I use left-handed columns. Z's work the same way as columns. You probably understand that. Beginning double pass-through is also a viable option. Not very common, but it can be utilized quite nicely. And then we get into what we call, having the points peel off from diamonds is just like having the ends peel off from parallel waves or parallel two-phase lines. It's the same sort of action that they're doing. It gets a little more challenging. And then what we call mixed arrangements. We don't use the term T-bones at plus. T-bones are a very specific kind of thing, so it's mixed arrangements is a much better term when you're dealing with plus dancers. But some of those can be very, very interesting and leave you in very nice setups. Makes peel off a much more useful call. And then at the end here, I've done a whole bunch of different singing call figures, and I've listed. Did I list the timing on these? Yes, most of them have the timing listed on them. Some of them you're going to want to go through. They're very short timed, and you might want to go through them slowly to let dancers get comfortable with how they work, and then you can. Add whatever it takes, a do-si-do or whatever it is, circulate to increase the time to make your singing call timing work a little bit better. So, can we get a square up? Yes, preferably 4 women and 4 men. There she comes. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the beginning sequence that I would teach the call with. A head star through and double pass through. So there's 2 ways to look at this, and I'll give you my traditional teaching method, and that is to visualize that there is a line between the leading couple and the trailing couple. Everyone is going to end up standing on that line. The trailers are going to have the leader as a partner facing the opposite direction of what you're facing now. The lead people step slightly forward and away from each other and then step forward to the line as the trailers step forward to the line and then turn away from each other. Peel off. Leaders away, trailers up and away. And we're all standing on that line that was between the leaders and the trailers. Okay. Touch a quarter. Boys run, double pass through. Now we have different leaders and trailers. Peel off, touch quarter, and the girls run. Now we have a completed double pass through, but the girls are turning toward the boys. It's not really a comfortable way to do the call. So at here I would stop and I would explain that the peel is away from the center. I would just give you a pause so you don't have any flow left. Peel off. Leaders away, trailers up and away. Touch a quarter. Girls run. Double pass through. And peel off. Slide through and Dixie Grand. So that... okay. You're home. Yeah. Okay, so that sequence gives from a completed double pass through gives all 4 positions, gives each person all 4 positions. Head star through. If you're extending applications at plus, and you're not using this, you should double pass through. Do half a zoom. Leaders turning away from each other do a U-turn back. I'm sorry. The centers turning away from each other do a U-turn back. And that's my alternate way to teach peel off now. Star through. And California twirl. Let's do it this way. It's easier. Double pass through. Do half a zoom, and the centers turn back, turning away from each other. It's once you're doing half a zoom, and you have dancers dancing the half a zoom, adding the centers turn back makes peel off just a cinch. Square your sets. Okay, let's do a heads lead right, veer to the left. Chain down the line. Half sachet. Forward and back. Left, touch a quarter. And notice that we're all turning towards the center at the end of that touch a quarter. So I neutralize the flow by doing a circulate, and I almost always would do something to neutralize that flow. Circulate once. Peel off. This is the two-phase line setup. Couple circulate. Chain down the line. 8 to the middle and back. Left touch a quarter. Circulate. Peel off. Half tag. Oh, goodness gracious. What did we do here? Okay, that's better. Boys trade. Past the ocean. And right, left grand. There you go. There you go. Okay, so you guys have seen those things before. That's the option from the column. From the Z's, it's very similar to a column. Let's try one of those. Heads flutter wheel. Past the ocean. Extend. Swing through. Girls fold. And you must emphasize the word off because they're going to peel the top. You know that, right? So you peel off. Couple circulate. Chain down the line. Okay. Past the ocean. And this is the opposite version of that. Boys fold. Peel off. Ferris wheel. Centers pass through and right and left grand or yellow rock. Square sets. Okay. Okay. One from beginning double pass through. Heads pair off. Step to the middle, face your corner. Pass to the center. Zoom. Peel off. Leaders turn away, trailers up and away. Good. Ends cross fold. Pass through and yellow rock. All right. So those are the standard formations that you've probably all used. Once we get into some more difficult things get a little bit strange. But let's look at a couple. Heads lead right, veer left. Girls hinge. Diamonds circulate. So at this point, the girls are the ends, points of the diamonds, or ends of what would be a wave or a line if they were, if the boys would just cooperate. So we can have those girls peel off. We have a lead girl and a trailing girl. The peel is away from the center, right? Girls peel off. You've seen this before, and you're really good with it. All right, good. Girls bend the line, the boys swing through. Extend. Boy run. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Centers wheel around. Alaman left. All right. So I think you may have all seen that before. You danced it like you've seen it before. So let's do one of the mixed arrangements. They get really kind of hairy, and you want to take your time. Even with experienced plus dancers, these can get difficult. Heads touch a quarter. Girls touch a quarter. This one's not too bad. The girls have taken some time to do the touch a quarter, so the boys have paused. They don't have any flow issues involved. Boys peel off, and the boys bend the line. Center forward people do a walk and dodge. The end people pass through, and the ends cross-fold. All do a touch a quarter, split circulate, hinge and right left grand. Square your sets. So that's having just half of the split box do the peel off. It's not very difficult, but it's a nice way to lead into some of the mixed arrangements. Let's heads lead right, circle to a line, or you could walk out and slide over. Well, I gave them an option, so I gave them the option. So some did, some didn't. It's all right. Pass through. Chase right, and the girls roll. So in your split box of 4 people on your side, nobody crosses the center line. In your split box, do a split circulate. Boys are looping around, girls are stepping straight ahead. So the boys are looking back in, the girls are looking out of your split box. So girls are the leaders, boys are the trailers. Girls are going to peel to the right, boys are going to step up and turn to the right. Peel off. And we have a very nice diamond. Boys have left hands with each other. Okay. Diamond circulate. Okay. All right. And cut the diamond. Explode and pass the ocean and right, left, grand, or square your sets. All right. You want to see that again? All right. You want to do it the other way or the same way? Head slide over and make a line with the sizes. No options this time. Pass through. Chase right. And the girls roll. So, working in your split box of 4 people, you got this part fine. Right. The girls are looking into the box, boys are looking out. Do a split circulate. So the boys are looping around and the girls are stepping forward. So far, so good. Working in your split box of 4 people, the girls are looking out. You're the leaders. Your job is to turn away and step forward. The boys are looking into your box. Your job is to step forward and turn away. Okay? Peel off. Step forward first. Step forward to each other. And then turn away. You really wish I'd give the girls that part, don't you? Do a diamond circulate. And cut the diamond, explode, and pass the ocean, square your sets. All right. So, I don't know if I did this with the other ones. Let's try this. Heads left touch a quarter. Boys touch a quarter. Girls peel off and bend the line. Centers pass through. Have the centers run. New centers walk and dodge. And the centers run. Slide through. Centers pass through. Swing through. And a right and left grand. You're far enough away. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah. All right. I think this one has the other boys in there too, so I won't do that one. I do have so setting up the completed double pass through in a way that flows into the call peel off, like I said, is problematic, but with a little imagination you could do it. Let's head star through, double pass through. This is the warm up. Peel off, pass through, wheel and deal, centers pass through. Boys are in the center, right? Do an 8-chain 4, but the boys only go 3.5. So the boys will have a left-handed wave in the middle. Girls are already turned around, all the way around, all the way around. Good, all right. Okay. Boys trade the wave, recycle, and pass through, while the girls do a wheel around and a half sachet, girls. Peel off. No, the wheel around would have left you facing out. Yeah, where were you there? They were facing in before the wheel around. So you finished the wheel around. Now you're going to half sachet. You did already. Okay, and then peel off. Leaders away, trailers up and away. That's okay. Pass through. Half tag. Boys are looking out. Boys trade down the line. Pass the ocean and a right and left grand. Square your sets. You want to see that again? Head star through. Double pass through. This is the warm up. Peel off. Piece of cake. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Boys in the middle do a pass through. 8-chain 4. The boys go 3.5. The girls get the full courtesy turn, so you're facing back in. So you're facing back in at the end of that. No, you already did that. That's your 4 parts of the call. That's your 4 parts. You didn't want to. Yeah, boys are doing 3.5, girls are doing 4, so it's kind of normal for the girls. Well, fairly normal. Fairly normal. Boys trade the wave, recycle, and pass through. Girls wheel around and a half sachet. Peel off. Okay, and it kind of works and times flows pretty well together. Pass through, half tag. Boys trade. Pass the ocean, and you're there. Square your sets. Good job. Okay, like I said, don't try to use peel off and peel the top. With new dancers, particularly new plus dancers, don't use peel the top together with it. Okay. Keep in mind it's a 4-person call because You need a center reference point. You need to know which way to turn, left or right. That's what the other half of the couple is for. Things that I remind dancers of is that everyone's turning away from the center. It's away, because you don't want to get them used to turning to the right. That's why I teach it that first way with a completed double pass through all four positions first, so that they don't get accustomed to turning right or left. It's away from the center. And the other thing I tell them is that the trailers will always become a couple with the leader in front of them. And I think that's pretty much me. We have lots more examples, but you get the idea.
Can we keep the square up for a second? Are you taking comments?
Sure.
Okay. He did the peel off once from the Z setup. Can we have the head step in and face your corner? Swing through. And the girl fold. And remember, his initial teach was a half a zoom. But I'm wondering, when do you go in and explain to the dancers that it's got to do with X and Y axis? Can you give us comments or anything like that? Because if you do the half zoom, you end up in offset lines in this thing, like 4 phantom lines. Boys do a half a zoom back. Girls step forward a half a step and turn away from each other. And you should not be lined up with the other couple. You should be offset from them, if you were doing the exact definition that he gave you with the half zoom thing. Undo all of that, what you did.
That's true, yeah.
So the boys have left hands and the girls are behind the guys. Boys back up in this, make a Z out of it. Now give us your commentary on this.
Yes, both definitions actually fall apart. You can't use the center line example to teach it from Z's either. Both examples of teaching fall apart when you do it from Z's. Right. Well, okay. You could say it's the center of the box of 4. It's the line that the boys are on. Okay, but yeah, it becomes problematic. I agree. Trying to use an easy teach example from Z's is a little problematic. But once they're dancing peel off, they'll just right to it.
I always emphasize that the leaders will always become the ends of a line. And that helps, because if you don't do it that way, you can end up in these weird offsets, and especially when he was doing the T-bone type peel-offs, and some of the boys got lost on
mixed arrangements.
Yeah, mixed arrangements. So that was my only comment. Any comments from out there? We'll run a microphone out to you. Questions?
Undo whatever you did and have a seat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doren. We're gonna move on then. Randy Dougherty.
Okay. I was assigned to do the anything and spread, and I did a little bit of research by looking up in Burleson's encyclopedia. It was number 78 before I even saw the word spread, and it was called Spread to Align. And if you have my handout, right below that, it's the CALLERLAB definition. We're going to skip over that CALLERLAB definition and go right back to the Burlesons. It says, from a completed double pass-through position, the trailing couple will step apart and the lead couple will back up between them to make a line of 4. So this is what the original definition was for spread. From a completed double pass-through, it was the centers doing the spreading action and the others backing up into the spot. On the Lee Kottman glossary of square dance calls, I found the word spread again. It was used in more of the advance or challenge program. It was spread the windmill, which was a takeoff of spin the windmill and then adding the word spread after that. And in its definition, it had the word slide apart. Up in the CALLERLAB definition, we do have those words slide apart, okay? Also, when I Googled it, it came up with the Tech Squares Week 12 teach for a different kind of spread. It says, if a call has active dancers, for example, heads, touch a quarter, and spread, the active dancers slide apart without turning, and the inactive dancers step forward into a vacant position. In the CALLERLAB definition, we don't have the word vacant or void or any of that in there. We don't have some terms that I think need to be explained in there. Half spread. Have you ever heard half spread? People are calling that. The word vacant and void, some callers say lack of spread. The other thing that I wanted to put emphasis on was the difference between the vertical versus the lateral type of a spread. Okay? So going back up to the top, the CALLERLAB definition, it says anything in spread. Well, first of all, to give you a little history, for the last year, this call has been just nothing but headaches to CALLERLAB for 40 years. For 40 years, we have not been able to tweak the definition. Okay? I think it was Barry Clasper and Eric out of California that were assigned to try to come up with the best definition. They did some work. They gave it to Clark. Clark Baker sent it out to the PLUS committee people to get their reaction. None of those people agreed with what Barry had or Eric had. And so Clark was really at his wit's end because he didn't know what to do. So what he did was just kind of put the horse to bed, and it's been laying there on his desk, and it's not going to go anywhere again. I disagree with the word anything in spread. It shouldn't say anything in spread. It should be an appropriate call and spread. And we should talk something about the suffix. The spread is always a suffix call. Now, some people don't agree with that. But if you have the anything call being the prefix and the spread being the suffix, do we want to make it just spread as a call? Or do we always have to have the call prior to it? They can't agree on that either. Okay? So, like if you say anything, well, I should be able to say circle left and spread. I can't do that. If I say anything and spread, well, anything could be an Alamo ring. In an Alamo ring, how would you do spread? There's hundreds of calls that you can't do prior to the word spread. Okay? So I'd like to see that change, but it ain't going to happen, I'm sure. If only some dancers are directed to spread from a static square like head, star, through, and spread, they slide apart sideways. That's the lateral motion. I'd like to see that word in there. To become the ends as the inactive dancers step forward between them. Okay? The second variety of spread, according to the CALLERLAB definition, is the anything call finishes in lines or waves, like in Follow Your Neighbor. The centers will anticipate the spread action by sliding apart sideways to become the new ends, while the original ends anticipate the spread and they become the nearest center position. Well, that anticipation thing is also very much important on the Lee Copman glossary. They're really doing a crossover circulate. They're circulating and anticipating the spread, which becomes a crossover circulate. Those of you that teach advance, I teach that as couple circulate and on the way spread. Anticipate that. And you can get them through doing crossover circulate very easily. Doing that, okay? Using the word spread. The third type is if the call finishes in tandem couples, and this is where we really fall into entrapment. This is like a wheel and deal from a line of four. The lead dancers slide apart sideways while the trailing dancers step forward between them. And then it gives us a styling thing. Back in the 70s, we really only used the spread as in Follow Your Neighbor and spread. A lot of callers only thought that was one call. It wasn't. It was definitely two calls. The other variety that I heard quite a bit in the late 70s was wheel and spread. We didn't ever say wheel and deal and spread. We used to call it wheel and spread. And other than those two that I can think of, there's not many more that were being used in the late 70s. And of course, you remember that, the definitions for all the plus calls weren't even identified. We had the +1 and the +2 back then. So we need to define some of these terms that I think are not in there. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I gave some examples of lateral spreads. down at the bottom of page 1. It says most common use is follow your neighbor and spread. So 0 box, touch a quarter, follow your neighbor and spread, explode the wave, U-turn back and a half square through to a right and left grand. That's a little module. Okay. The next one was from a 0 box, veer left, fan the top, which is a little different because you're in a two-face line. So when you finish it, you're still in a two-face line, but it's titled. And then you say bend the line, pass the ocean, fan the top and spread, and it works right into an Alaman left. Okay? Going to the opposite side of the coin, going from lateral towards vertical, is that third variety that they talk about in the CALLERLAB definition. Was it says if the lead couple, like from a completed double pass through, it's the leaders that do the sideways motion and the trailers that are stepping up to fill the void. Well, back in the late 70s and early 80s, we used to say it's always the centers that spread, and that goes in combination with spread to a line, where that one couple did have to back up. And everybody knows you don't back up in square dancing, right? So they didn't use that much. And so then it became nothing more than centers in, and that was a spread. But that's not really the way we wanted it. Okay? The vertical versus the lateral, I put in there, 0 line. This is a 000. You know what a 000 is, right, gang? Do the module 3 times and it zeroes out. So it's pass through, wheel and deal, double pass through, and spread, and then cast off 3/4. Well, that's the old centers in thing, isn't it? You do that sequence 3 times and you got it zeroed. All right? Another one is 0 line, thinking the vertical way now. Do a right and left through first, Dixie style to a wave, boys trade, girls fold, and the boys spread. Well, that's the Z setup that we had. When the boys spread, the girls supposed to step up and fill the void. A lot of callers are saying girls touch a quarter, when really the correct call would be girls hinge, because they're already touching hands. Do you all see that? All right. And then the finish off the module, it's a diamond circulate, flip the diamond, explode the wave, face your partner, pass through, and Alaman left. Okay? The vertical versus the lateral spreads. This is heads lead left, veer right, boys trade and spread. That's a little different. If you notice, if you think about it, you're in a left two-face line and you say boys trade and spread. They're doing it as a couple formation, and so the right-hand dancer, you would think that rule would fall into place where the right-hand dancer was sachet in front. So the spread is done as a couple here, and I'm the center, I would slide out, she would slide in. Okay? That puts us into that left half tag, girls run left. Now you're in a 0 line, touch a quarter, 8 circulate, and the girl run left and Alaman left. There's another example there. Heads lead right, veer left, couples circulate, and spread, it says. Well, that becomes probably better called if you said heads lead right, veer left, couples circulate, and the trailers step in, or trailers in, which accomplishes the spread. Can we get a square up so we can look at this particular one? Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah. No. No, Dee Dee, no. I keep telling you day after day after day. Okay, you'll see it this time. Heads, lead left, veer right. If I say boys trade and spread, they're the centers. They will slide out as the girls slide in. So, Well, that's what I'm trying to get the point to be made. What is the traffic flow on that? I always think about applying the half sachet rule, which is the right-hand dancer going in front. Okay? You could have. Yeah. It's also like, you can say pass. That's not the one I'm talking about, though. The one she's talking about is coming up. All right. If I say couples circulate, do that. And then I say trailers in, that's the same as saying spread from here, because we have a couple tandem arrangement, like as if you were in a completed double pass through. If you're the leaders, you're going to be sliding apart slightly as the couple behind you are the trailers. They will circulate in between you, and all the girls will be in the middle back to back, and the boys will be on the right end of an offset line. Okay? So spread or trailers in. Do you see that you have two lines of four? No, they're not. They're not going to be titled. Okay? They should technically they should be not titled, but a little bit back to back, closer to back to back. Okay? Yeah. I don't think so. Okay? It's not like the peel off call. It ain't like the peel off call. Okay? So from here, what are you going to call? You got weird setups, and you got dancers wandering all around real quick. Boys as a couple fold. And I just went into the A1 program. Star through, and you're out of it again. Okay? Do a partner trade. Now we have a right face, two face line. And it's no different. If we're thinking about a completed double pass through, the leaders are the ones that slide away, and the trailing couple steps up all the way across. So it's like a circulate for the trailing couple. Spread. Boys as a couple fold. No, it's not. Okay? Star through. Boys trade. Bend the line. Now, Dee Dee's comment was, why would you want to call that? Yeah. Because it's fun for the dancers to win at something that they haven't done before. If you're always doing the same thing every time, if it's always follow your neighbor and spread, it's ridiculous. They get bored.
Which is another point. They think it's a call, and it's not a call.
So you need to teach it.
Follow your neighbor needs to be called more.
Yes, Dee Dee, you're correct. Pass the ocean. Talking about flow now, we go into flow, swing through. So without doing follow your neighbor and spread, you could say boys trade and spread, and that's the lateral one, and it works pretty good. But watch what happens on this one. Boys trade and spread. Terrible flow, unless you anticipate it. If you don't anticipate it, it doesn't work very good. Hinge, boy run. Another bad example of bad flow here would be pass the ocean and spread. See how bad that one is. There's a lot of calls that are really, really bad flow, and if you're going to try to do spread, okay, you got to make sure that it's going to work good for you. Left hinge, follow your neighbor, no spreading, no margarine, no butter, no nothing. Swing through. Okay? Boys run, half tag and spread. So you can't be calling off if you're going to do extemporaneous sight calling, you have to work this stuff out with your dolls so you make sure that it's going to be smooth. Okay? Follow your neighbor and spread and finish like chain down the line. That was a lot better flow, wasn't it? All right. Why don't you square your set, and we're going to go into the twilight zone. Yeah. Now, this is further in the twilight zone. You would never call anything below the entering the twilight zone unless you were in probably a competition type thing. And in competition, the whole idea is the last square standing, correct? And a lot of people think, well, we shouldn't have competition in square dancing. You know that the keynote speaker did say, maybe we should lean towards doing that. If you're going to go that route, you got to make sure they're going to have fun with it, okay? So here we go. Give me a 0 box. These guys are taught well. Right and left through. Pass to the center and spread. It wasn't the best unless we anticipated, okay? Right here, square through 3. 3/4 tag. Weave the ring. And they'll go wee-wee all the way around. Promenade your girl homeward bound. Oh, boy. Good luck on this one. Heads, half sachet. Pass through. Now, depending on how far you pass them through, you're going to have problems if we try to apply the word spread. I just did a pass through. If they don't go too far through, can you back up so you're almost bumper to bumper? If we say spread now, notice it's a lateral spread and the others have to fill up that hole. You almost get a football tackle type of effect on it. So I always help the dancers by saying, pass through, go all the way through. Now you can call spread, the head spread, and the side step in. Okay? Very good. The new center, square through 3. The others, you turn back, and those ends pass through. Listen before you move, okay? Centers do it in reverse order, and all do your parts of crossfire. And Dee Dee's going, why would you call that? Why would you call that? Because you can say, you're home. No, we're not going to do that again. All right. I can't believe some of this stuff I wrote out here. Number 1 couple do a half sachet, and the sides, like a spread, separate and star through. Hey, keep your comments to yourself. All right. Heads, the best you can, have somebody lead for a Dixie style to a wave. All right. Sides, like a spread, separate and load the boat. In the wave, do a left swing through and the ends roll. Okay? The very center 2 girls, or the very center 1 girl, do a U-turn back. And those people reverse wheel around once and a half. And those same people, half more, half. Good, very good. And the same people spread. Let the outside couple step in. No, the outside couple steps in. You have a line of 3 now. Do you see the line of 3? Yeah, the ends should have been still out there on the outside there. They didn't roll on the outside? It wasn't a load the boat and roll. No, I didn't. I said the ends separate and load the boat while the others have this left swing through and the ends roll is what we did. You want to see it again? Go back home. Because this is really, really good. This is really, really good. Number 1 couple, half sachet. Sides, like a spread, separate and star through. The best you can, have the head somebody lead Dixie style to a wave. In the middle, left swing through, and the ends roll. So you're looking at a shoulder blade now, okay? The outsides, like a spread, separate and load the boat. Make sure you go by 3, okay? The center girl, you turn back, and that couple reverse wheel around reversed. Wheel around once and a half, and you're in front of a guy now. No, you go. That's 2. Jesus. Face us, Joe. Face us. See, this is why it's called competition. All right. The very center couple spread, and that brings the boy in. There's a line of 3. In the line of 3, the end boy walk, the other 3 dodge. The walking boy, Joe, you should have walked. You were the end boy. The walking boy, run and say, everyone son of a gun. You're home. All right. Head, star through and spread. Pass through, wheel and deal and spread. Boys pass through. Boys do half of a partner trade and roll, and the very center boy pass through. Check a wave of 3. See it? All right. In the wave of 3, let's see, where am I at here? Well, no, what I've got is I've got 2 different get-outs, those little bullets that I have there. Okay, it says in the wave of 3, swing through. Start with your right, then your left. All right, I have 2 different get-outs there, the little bullets. I like to say, everyone star through. The center couples veer left. Everybody veer left. Everybody veer right. Everyone goes crazy. Alaman left. Or swing. Swing your girl. She's right there in front. So the get-out is... I should have had just the outsides trade, like it says. There's all kinds of times that you can do these spreads and challenge the dancers to understand the definition. One of the hardest ones I've got that a guy that's dancing gave me is this. Sides, promenade half. I'm doing the very last one on this page. Come down the middle and star through. Diddly squat. That's Dee Dee's favorite call. Okay. Only the girls zoom and only the boys spread. Do you see the lines of 3 that we have again? Okay. Original heads, they're the ones that can do this. Square through 3. Those original heads are looking at one girl on the outside. With that one girl, pass to the center. Don't forget the outsides do something. In the middle, there's a W. Do a slide through. Praise the Lord. You're home again. All right. So, in that case, I only had 2 people doing the spread thing. Let's see it again. Head, star through. Only the boys spread. There's the lines of 3. And you're saying, why would I go here? All right? Because you're making the dancers listen to you. Okay? Outside girl, will you do a single veer to the right? Boy, that was hard to get out of that, wasn't it? Star through. Girls only spread. Step up, girls. All right, good. Lonesome boys promenade around the outside. Of course, when you promenade, you put your left shoulder in and go around 4 people. What does that one guy have to do? It's like the little spreading action, okay? Slide through. Don't shake your head, Dee Dee. Zoom. Square through 3. It's taken me years to get to where she is now. Pass through. Alaman left. And the crowd goes wild. And you promenade home. Finalizing. You can sit down, guys. Thank you very much. Yes? Come up on the microphone if you would, please. First of all, I just want to say that spread is still giving us all kinds of fits in the CALLERLAB definitions, okay? State your name.
Stephen Nosek, Puyallup,
and
Washington.
Your location.
So from a box 1-4.
Yes.
Head star through, pass through, if it were that side. Touch a quarter boy, run. Spread. Heads touch a quarter.
Yep.
That
Head
boy,
boy
run.
run.
Spread.
Yep. What do you want to know about it?
Outsides in, insides out.
I use the rule for the centers. The centers are the slide apart, and the others would fill up the void.
Are you...
We're not in a tandem couple arrangement, so you can't apply that.
Are you in minority for that thinking or majority?
I don't know. These are my personal opinions.
Okay. Well, you run with people who dance in the advance and challenge world.
I try not to run with them, no.
Yeah. Would you say that they would support that, or do they have a different opinion?
Because you had that head boy run, those were the active people, and so now you can add the suffix to it, and so those would be the ones that I think that should spread. What it does is it makes the square smaller, so they're inhaling. If you have the outside spread and the centers step outbound, that makes the square bigger. So it's always like a choreographical tool for you. Do you want to make the square bigger? Or do you want to keep the square small? Depending on, how many squares you got out there on the floor and how much space you have, it could be called either way. You know that we do, this is a way that a lot of the advanced and challenge callers call to get into hourglasses. They'll have a line and they'll say touch a quarter, circulate once and a half, and when the girls meet, trade, and then they say what? Spread. That gets you to the hourglass. But that's not a proper way of doing spread. There's nobody doing the fill the void part or fill the vacant. If you do that, there's some C4 people that might be attending your C1 dance that you've called this on, and they're going to end up T-boned and as a couple because the boys are going to fill the void. And one boy is going into a phantom spot like a couple thing. So you got to be really careful. We need to keep working on this definition for spread until we get it right. And it should work the same way all the time. If we would have stuck with the original definition that said the centers are always the ones that spread and the others fill the void, I think we would have been down the traffic road correctly, and we would never have all of this stuff that we have now. No callers would be able to call some of the crap that I just showed you, okay, using those rules. Just me, yeah. Now my group, I will work with them till they get those kinds of things. And you don't do it on a one-night thing. You can't show all of that stuff in even a week or two if you had them. It's taken me 5-6 months, 4 or 5 years down the road to get them to that point where they can do those kinds of things. If you don't have a regular group like that, I don't think you should even mess around with any of that stuff that I just showed you. It's really judgment. When you can't get callers to do what I just tried to do, think what the dancers are going to be faced with. Okay? But if it was a competition, I don't give a damn then. If it's a competition, it's me against them. And I will always win because I have the microphone. Okay?
In your example, though, I don't think there would be much argument at all. It would be the center people. It would be just like having the heads star through and spread or heads touch a quarter and spread. It'd be exactly the same thing.
But slight counterexample, 8-chain through formation, if the call is right and left through and spread, it's a bit ambiguous then. In that case, you need to remove the ambiguity, tell the dancers who you want to spread. Right and left through, centers spread, the others step in. Single, hinge, centers, trade, whatever. Very good. Any other questions for Randy? Any other comments?
I have a comment.
Don't forget I got a handout out here.
Randy has a
handout.
Has a handout. You have all that stuff in print, believe it or not. Okay. There's a lot of actions going on, like you'll hear at festivals, at plus levels, callers calling like swing through and spread. I've never liked it. I just find it kind of clunky and cumbersome to do that. I finally have, just in the past couple of years, come to accept fan the top and spread, because it gives people enough time to anticipate the spread action. The swing through just comes too fast. So, and there are other examples of that as well. Randy, didn't you use, what did you use? Something that was really, really quick to a spread. And I really just, it was, gosh, terrible. I was showing some terrible flow. Yes, you were.
Showing terrible flow, yes.
Yes, I know. But yeah, I have finally come to accept a fan the top and spread, because they have enough time to anticipate it. So you might consider that. The other question I had for you, though, was from your two-phase line setup. You called the trailers in kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
How would I know? If you called that as a spread, how would I know whether I'm working laterally or vertically?
Exactly, the perfect question. And my point is this. If you don't help the dancers, they're not going to know. Because in part 1 of the CALLERLAB definition, where it says if you end up in a line or a wave, like in Follow Your Neighbor, it says you're working in your wave or line. Well, when you do a couple circulate, you have a box, either in front or behind you, but you also have a what? A line. And so that's why this definition needs to be cleaned up. And it hasn't happened yet. So that's a perfect good question, and I don't have the right answer, except that if you wanted to accomplish what I was trying to show, it would be done like a trailer's in setup. And it does not end up in the perfect title type thing. Okay? I think it ends up in triple boxes. Okay? That's my opinion. Come up and we'll find out your comment or question.
Tom Chris from Tucson. Are you telling me that when we do a touch a quarter and spread, if you don't have somebody to fill in the void, it's not legal? Like if you did from a zero box, touch a quarter, circulate once and a half, center six spread, trade and spread, can you do that or what?
I don't think that's a good application. If you're saying center six trade and spread, you're wanting them to center six trade and slide apart and only two to fill the void.
So instead of
There's
that, you
six
just say,
voids there.
You would just simply say trade and slide apart.
If you wanted to do that, but what does the end person of that thing do?
And you mean the ones on the far end?
Yep.
Well, you're talking about the center six.
Okay, if you just say center six, spread or trade and slide apart or whatever you want to do. Yeah. Not at the mainstream or plus. Of course, spreads being a plus part of the plus family, you wouldn't want to do that. That's only from like C1 and above, I think. Not even at A2 would you call that.
Have to say slide apart. All right, we're going to move on. We've got one more call to look at here real quick. Be honest. How many of you use spin chain the gears in most of your plus tips? Yeah, me neither. Too bad. It's a really useful call. It's a call we can actually do a bunch with, even without getting into different formations or whatever. Could we go ahead and let's have a square pop up? We're going to take a look at some of the effects of spin chain the gears. I do not have any handouts, but these will be fairly straightforward, and it'll be on the tape. All right, so let's see. Looks like I need two more ladies if we have two more volunteers. Thank you guys so much. So choreographically, spin chain the gears is equivalent to the centers doing a U-turn back, couples circulate, and then the centers U-turn back again. It's going to preserve formation, arrangement, and sequence as we do it. Let's take a look. Everybody pick one couple to watch, and let's see what happens here. Heads lead right, please. Veer left, bend the line, past the ocean. So every couple that you're watching, we've got each guy holding his partner on the right-hand side. Let's go ahead and spin chain the gears, please. Half. 3/4. Chain. We've got stars. Left-hand stars. Yep, jump in there. There we go. Good. Ladies chain across. Boys flip to the outside. Great. You notice that the couple you watch, they're still together. They still have right hands with one another. In this particular case, it worked as a zero. Let's have the boys fold, please. We could do a right-left grand, but instead just push her, just promenade home. Boy fold, girl, you turn back. Yeah. All right. Now, what works in one relationship station like that, doing it with partners, that works in any relationship station. For example, let's have make a zero box for me, heads pair off as it were. Everybody's facing their corner. Everybody slide through, then pass the ocean here. Now we've all got corners by the right hand. We happen to be out of sequence. That's okay. Doesn't matter to the call. Let's do a spin chain the gears, please. Here come stars. Yes. Chain across and a cast 3/4. Yep, we need to do this call more often, don't we? So once again, we all have corners by the right-hand side. We happen to be out of sequence this time. Let's fix that. Everybody take a peek. Trade the wave. Alaman left. There you are. You can drag her back home if you wish. Take whatever shortcut you want. All right, so the call preserves formation, arrangement, and sequence, but at the same time, it sends two dancers from one of the ocean waves over to the other wave. That makes this call a technical zero. And that, friends, is what makes it useful. It's particularly when you're not using this call as a zero. Watch this one. Heads past the ocean, please. Extend to the outside, too. We've got right-hand ladies in hand, don't we? If we were to call spin chain the gears now, it would work as a zero. We'd have right-hand ladies. Yeah, okay. Let's have ladies trade, please. Good. Now spin chain the gears. That right-hand lady that we had in hand, that used to be just sort of once removed from the guy after the ladies trade, she's gone. Poof. We've replaced that right-hand lady with each man's corner. Boys were out of sequence before. Let's do this. Boys cross-fold. Allo man left. So we changed the right-hand lady into a corner using spin chain the gears. Go ahead, promenade home. So all technical zeros are basically inversion modules. They're going to break apart any matched couples. They're going to put together any original couples that had not been paired. Heads lead right. Step to an ocean wave. Ladies trade. Once again, we've got partners by the right hand here. Everybody doing all 8 circulate. Now we've got opposite ladies by the right hand. Are you guys okay with doing this left-handed? Let's try it. Everybody, you turn back. We'll be brave. Again, it doesn't matter to the spin chain the gears call. It's all going to work the same way. And let's have the ladies trade so that we no longer have opposites by our hand here. Good. Spin chain the gears. Turn half by the left. 3/4 in the middle. Boys chain across. Ladies turn around. We're going to have right hand stars. Good. Ladies chain across. There we go. Boys get out of the way. Yep. There we go. Poof. Yep. Now, all those opposite ladies, they've been replaced by partners. We went from opposites everywhere to each man's the lady once removed on the far side there is partner everywhere. Boys boys cross-fold, then touch a quarter, and a right and left grand if you want, or just promenade home. Very good. So each technical zero is a module or call that preserves formation, arrangement, sequence, and maybe it preserves relationship. It only works as a zero if the 2 people you're sending across, if the 2 people that are starting spin chain the gears holding hands here, the end and adjacent center, if they're a man and his corresponding what we'll call station lady. Any other arrangements will switch that relationships. Partners to opposites, corners to right-hand ladies, and so on. Let's try one with a different arrangement here. Heads past the ocean. Extend to the outside, too. We've got everybody right-hand ladies in hand. Do a single hinge, please, and the centers trade. Now, in each wave, we've got every man's right-hand lady in this wave along with him. She's not right next to him, obviously, kind of once removed, though, but we've got right-hand ladies everywhere. Spin chain the gears. Try it from here. Half, 3/4, 2 people chain across. We have stars. Turn the stars. 3/4. 2 more people chain across. There we go. The others flip to the outside. All of those right-hand ladies, poof, they're now corners once removed. Let's do a single hinge. Split circulate. Take a peek and trade the wave. Allo man left. And promenade home. So any arrangement that isn't a guy with his station lady, as it were, if we were in partners everywhere in our wave, if we didn't have partners by the right or by the hand when we started, we're going to switch those partners with opposites every time we use this particular call. Now, just moving along, we can turn the stars some other fraction. We don't have to turn them 3/4. Caller can choose that. That's not going to preserve the arrangement, but it still can be useful. For example, turning the stars just halfway will take the 2 ends of the wave and send them across to the other side to become centers over there. Let's take a look at this one. Heads past the ocean, please. Extend to the outside, 2 single hinge centers trade. So we've got boy, boy, girl, girl here. Heads, identify yourselves if you would. You notice we've got the heads on the ends of the wave here. Very good. In fact, do me a favor. Number 1 heads, please identify. Just the 2 of you. Yeah. No, I can't have 2 boys as number 1. So anyway. Yep. All right. So we've got number 1s on ends of one line. Let's go ahead, spin chain the gears, please. But this time, turn the stars just a half. Flip in there. Turn them just a half. 1, 2. There we go. Yep. Chain across. The centers are going to cast 3/4. Whoops. Nope. Yep. You guys need to flip to the outside while the others finish with a cast 3/4. Good. Number 1 couple, please. Identify yourself. They went from one end of the ends of one wave to become the centers of the other wave. We can get out of this one here. Boys, run, please. Everybody pass through. Bend the line. Star through. Oh, we're half a chicken plucker away from home. Right and left through. Pass through. Trade by. There's the corner. Alaman left. All right. Head on home. Oh, dear me. Did I have a bug in my... I probably read it wrong, but you can figure it out. Exercise left to the readers, as it were. All right, so turning the stars just a quarter would send an in-facing end and the far center dancer to become partners on the other side. Spin chain the gears, turning the star 0 times. That's kind of yucky, but if you turn it all the way around, that actually becomes equivalent to a swing through. Let's try this. Let's heads lead right. Now, we know that from this formation, we could do a swing through, turn through, Alaman left. Right. We can do that. Instead, let's spin chain the gears, please. But turn the stars 4/4 all the way around. That same boy is going to chain back across to the other side. The others flip to the outside. Yep, boys finish it with a cast 3/4. You're here on the end. Yep, good. Now we can turn through. Head to the corner. Alaman left. Yes, promenade home. Very nice. So just to summarize, we're kind of running close. We're actually a minute over. Just to summarize, spin chain the gears is like centers you turn back, couples circulate. Centers you turn back again. It's a 0 if a man and a station lady start together. Otherwise, poof, the far center dancer is going to be replaced by that dancer's opposite, changing the relationship stations all around. You can use those inversions on purpose to get good get-outs, and turning the stars other fractions doesn't necessarily preserve arrangement. Still useful, still different to be done. Any quick questions or comments on spin chain the gears? All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending our Constructing Plus session. We'll see you later.